Hey Teba, so this is part 2. Welcome to go watch part 1 first and come back, but I think you'll be okay. You can watch it after this. It'll just give you a little bit more context. Also, my cat is now here. She's had it with me sitting in here talking to myself. She needed some playtime. I'm just adjust you a little bit. So if the camera shakes, she's just being a wild. She's being a wild child because that's what she does and that's who she is. So yeah, I had my plan. Fiber, protein, weightlifting. I was also the heaviest I had ever been. My knees were hurting all the time. I was walking like strangely. You know, an important thing to note here, and this is the most important thing to note, that I realized I was the heaviest I had ever been. I was shocked when I saw my side view in the mirror, but I didn't hate on myself at that time. I said fine, because also like a lot of my clothes weren't fitting, and she tried to take me down. She tried to take down the whole operation. Anyway, so I didn't hate on myself at that time. I was kind of like, whatever, my clothes aren't fitting. I'm super uncomfortable. And I just went and I got clothes that fit and that I felt comfortable in. And that was something I had never done before. I would just still buy tight clothes and just feel uncomfortable. I refused to buy like bigger clothes that would kind of like hide my body or make me feel comfortable. But this time I did. It made a huge difference because I felt okay within myself. I still felt cute, I felt comfortable, and I felt happy within myself even though I was carrying extra weight that was making me feel very uncomfortable. And I think that was really important because there was an acceptance of, this is where I am, I know where I want to go, I'm not there yet, and I don't have to be miserable on my way there. So that's super important to know, and I think that's why this was such an important part of my journey. I really do think this is why like it worked this time. I came to accept myself and I wasn't coming from a place of hatred or disconnection. Lots of research into what foods I should be eating, what had protein in it, what was a high amount of protein, what was a low amount of protein. I ended up finding all these like little hacks of meals that I was having that I really enjoyed. I had like a lot of smoothies. I had really yummy like tuna bowls. I would get like these frozen packs of protein grains and legumes. They were really yummy and the calories were great on them. Probably not the greatest for sodium, but you gotta start somewhere. I started finding meals that I liked. I started incorporating a lot of vegetables and fruits, cutting out the junk food, which now I don't remember if it was hard or if it was easy. I think for me at that time, I more just enjoyed like very hearty meals. I just had very large volume meals that were low calorie and high protein. Lots of salads that had a lot of grains and legumes in them, and like things like tuna. I don't know if anybody can relate. I had signed up to so many gyms and just never gone. I was like, I refuse to sign up to another gym and just feel guilty and never go. So what I did was I was taking classes at a community college. I ended up using their gym. Let me tell you about this gym's hours, okay? It was crazy. It was open like, 11:30 to 2 on Tuesday and Thursday, and like 3:30 to 5 on Wednesday and Monday. The weirdest hours ever. And I was like, I can't do it. The hours are too weird. Everything's too inconvenient. And I said to myself, no excuses. This is available to me. I just have to make it work. And you know what? I did make it work. And I bought myself a gym bag and it was very affordable. And because I was watching like Whitney Simmons and all these people, like it was very inspirational for me to find something that she had. Found it, I think it was TJ Maxx. It was a gym bag where you could put your sneakers into the bottom compartment of the gym bag. I don't know if y'all were already living this kind of life, but I didn't know anything about like athletic stuff. Everything was very basic. Like I think it was also like how things change over time and what becomes more accessible. I thought it was the coolest thing. It was like an Adidas gym bag with a shoe compartment. Oh my gosh. And I got some $16 super low quality TJ Maxx leggings and they fit my body. And I was just so excited, so ready. And I showed up to the gym and I was terrified. And I got on the treadmill and I remember feeling how large I was and feeling like when I was attempting to run on the treadmill, I felt like I was a giant. I'm sure so much of that was in my head. It was coming after so much insecurity about my largeness. It was loud. I wasn't running, okay? I was like walking with high knees. And I was terrified. I had like such a fear of falling off of things and just like no athleticism. I was angry. Every time I got on the treadmill, I was angry and insecure and cursing to myself. I was not in a good place with it, but I was like, just keep doing it. I ventured into the weightlifting room of that tiny gym. I was so angry. I think because I felt so insecure and so out of place, and for whatever reason it was coming through as anger and defensiveness, and people were trying to be friendly with me, and I was kind of like, I didn't want to talk to anybody, and I'm like a very friendly person. I remember I started just doing like little things here and there, trying to blend in. I did ask for help because I had advice from a chiropractor once to do the lat pull downs, and I asked the monitor of the gym if he would show me how to do a lat pull down, and I was terrified, and I felt like he was laughing at me, and he definitely wasn't. He didn't care. I did lat pull downs. I did like the 2 same exercises, just same ones. I would run on the treadmill, and I would do like the same 2 exercises, and when there was too many people looking at me, I would leave. Sometimes I would go there and I would get really nervous, and I would just stand in the gym, and then I would just leave, and I was like, I don't care as long as I'm going consistently. It's the day I discovered hamstrings. I think I saw someone on this machine, and then I was like, what does this thing do? And I think I laid on it, and it was a hamstring curl. I didn't know what was happening because I did the hamstring curl and I felt things I'd never felt before because my hamstrings activated. It's so bizarre to discover parts of your body that you didn't know existed. There I was looking up what hamstrings were. I became obsessed with hamstrings because it was so cool to feel them activated. It got me more excited to work out, and it got me more excited to look more into videos of these girls working out. Were they doing hamstrings exercises? I did end up graduating from that gym. I had searched high and low in the area where I lived for like cool gyms, like something out of the ordinary. I was so sick of the contracts, and then you're like stuck in this contract and you feel uncomfortable and you can't escape. I was kind of sick of the why. So I was like, I just want like something different. I swear to you, I Googled, I looked around, I was constantly searching. I had gotten in my groove with my college gym, and I was in my groove with my eating. One day, I felt inspired to look again for a gym. Out of nowhere, this gym appeared, and I was like, what is this? Is this a gym? I've never seen this before. I looked on their website. It looked pretty cool. I went to go check it out. I had driven past it, I don't know, hundreds of times. I never looked at it. It's like it came out of nowhere. And I went inside, and I was already scared, right? Because I'd had so many weird experiences at gyms with like these contracts and salespeople. It feels so intimidating and uncomfortable. Front desk person, sweet, nonchalant, super chill. And I was like, hey, I'm thinking of joining the gym. He's like, yeah, well, you can look around. Let me know if you want to join. And I'm like, oh, you want me to just like walk around by myself? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, interesting. I started walking around, and it was kind of dark and kind of dingy, and it had like this vibe, like it just didn't care. And I was in love. And I went downstairs, and there was people doing Olympic powerlifting. Hello. So it was like Julian Salamita vibes. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're doing that magical thing I saw on YouTube. Once I saw that, I was so excited. I was like internally just dancing. I ran back up the stairs, and by ran, I mean I walked very carefully, climbed with my knees hurting. It didn't want to appeal to you. Like the gym didn't care. Everyone there was just like slamming iron. You know, it had like all of the real steel plates and just like these exercises I had never seen before, so many free weights. I just felt like I was home, but it was so dark and dingy. I was like, can I work out here? I talked to the nice guy behind the front desk, and no contracts. There was no BS. He was so kind and sweet and welcoming, but there was no pressure. And the price was so reasonable, and it turns out that because I was a college student at the time, it was so affordable. I ended up signing up to that gym, and it changed my life. So that was probably the end of 2017 at that point when I signed up to that gym. My fitness journey blossomed. I was at that gym every single day because I would make myself go lovingly. Right after work, I didn't think about anything. I would just drive directly to the gym. And I was like, I don't care if you just go change in the locker room and walk right back out, or you're gonna get into the building. And that's what I did. And there was such an amazing community of people there that it just made me want to keep coming back and seeing those same people and saying hi. And I made so many friends. The weight was melting off of me like it never had before. Between like not just my diet being low in calories, I was eating so many fruits and vegetables and high protein and lean protein and fiber. My skin was glowing. I had endless energy. And when I went to the eye doctor to get a new glasses prescription, my eyesight had actually improved. I started tracking how fast I could run, walk, jog on the treadmill, and I kept getting faster and faster, and I was still terrified of running on the treadmill. But it was such a fun thing to like track because I could very easily see my progress. I had dropped like 20 pounds, 30 pounds, and also I was gaining muscle, so the scale stopped moving, but my like waist size kept decreasing, like my size in clothes kept decreasing, and I felt great. I had a depressive episode. I think it was brought on by whatever brings on depressive episodes, okay? I had made all of this progress. I felt amazing, and I'll show you pictures if I haven't already. My life had changed so much for the better. One of the girls I was following, Megan Grubb, beautiful, obviously. And I remember I was like looking at her Instagram and I was always like watching her videos and stuff like that. And I bought a dress that was similar to a dress that she was wearing. And I put it on and I took a picture of myself. Let me tell you how I did not look like Megan Grubb in that dress. I was mortified. I was like, how can I make all of this progress for all of this time? I don't look anything like that. Like, my body shape was nothing like that. And I think I hadn't taken that into account. None of the people that I was watching had anything close to my actual body shape or ethnicity or anything. It was just like completely random, these people that I was watching, and then I expected to eventually look like them. I'm sure I had all kinds of body dysmorphia along with my disordered eating. It came all at once where I realized I was never going to look like these girls. No matter what I did, I would never. Body shape was completely different, as well as my skin had been stretched over this time, so no matter what I did, there was going to be a little bit of evidence of that, even if I lost weight and gained muscle. My body just looked different. It was my body, but there was no connection to my body that I had. Working out helped so much. Like, I realized how much I wasn't in my body ever once I had to be mindful about what I was putting in it. Mindful while I was working out, which increased like my coordination, my reflexes, all kinds of amazing things for me. There was still a visual disconnect between what my body looked like and accepting it in its changing form and what I thought it was supposed to look like, which was like these girls that I was constantly, like, my entire Instagram was just full of fitness girls. They were all white girls and they all had like a similar frame. It ruined me. I fell into such a depressive episode and I gained so much weight in such a short time. Maybe like a couple of months. Like, I just stopped doing everything. I wouldn't move unless I had to. Like, I had to go to work. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to do anything. I just felt completely disheartened and devastated, and I felt like nothing I was doing was made any sense or was for anything. It's sad because I was doing so well for myself, and if I had just held on, if I just had a different view, if I understood that it was more than about looking like those girls, but at that point, that's just where I was. I gained a bunch of weight after that, and then I kind of came to my senses a couple months later, lost the weight, focused more on weightlifting, and I actually started seeing a lot of muscle gain at that point. I upped my protein as well. Mostly I was overall gaining muscle and I was feeling really good. I was really strong. In fact, at one point I was like, I think I'm gaining too much muscle, which I know is not a thing, but my body just looked really different than I thought it would. I felt kind of heavy again, especially in my legs. So I was like, all right, let me switch it up. Let me do some more cardio. I had kind of like this up and down, up and down, up and down, but overall good, overall healthy. I had a much better relationship with food. I was much more kind to myself, but I was still definitely on like a journey of discovery in terms of like why I eat the way that I do, when I eat different ways, what's happening, being in my body versus kind of dissociating, like, and my mental health journey along with all of those things. I was doing well for quite a few years, even like with big life kind of turbulence. I maintained mostly steady, kind of having my ups and downs, but in a trajectory that was healthy and well. And then I had a very turbulent life event. Everything went out the window. Interestingly, right before this happened, I was definitely at my peak of physical performance. I was so strong. I was so fit. I did not look like any of those girls still. My weight was still kind of high if you looked at it. I think I was still around 190, 200 zone. So it was mostly like my muscle mass that seemed to be shifting. I was very comfortable in my body. I would say, well, we're starting to catch up to where I am now. I'm gonna have to make a part 3. I'll see you soon. Bye. My cat is now here. I had my fiber protein weightlifting plan. Oh God. Baby, what you doing?